Well, we did it. Mission accomplished. The U.S. surpassed 1 million COVID deaths this week. That's based on an official count from NBC News, but it's likely we crossed the 1 million death threshold a while ago. You factor in people who died with COVID at home because they were unable to seek medical care and thus weren't counted, or died of something else because hospitals were full of COVID patients. Either way, it's the largest pandemic death toll in the world by far. Brazil is in second with over 600,000 COVID deaths. And right now, infections and hospitalizations are both ticking up in the U.S. New cases are up 59%. Hospitalizations are up 18% over the last 2 weeks. And the scarcity that plagued the U.S. pandemic response before vaccines and tests were available has returned for the uninsured. They are losing their access to treatments as the U.S. government runs out of money to continue its COVID response. The House of Representatives skipped town again this week without passing a new pandemic funding measure. It's simply no longer a priority for them. The world also passed a grim milestone, 15 million dead of the virus, but health officials caution that there too the number is likely much, much higher. As in these Times notes, the milestone was reached nearly a year since the U.S. government announced it would support a patent waiver on COVID vaccines to share with the rest of the world. That waiver, though, went nowhere as Western drug capitalists lobbied governments against it in order to preserve future profits. And while the U.S. paid lip service to supporting a waiver, it actually never attempted to pass one. So today, people will claim that the 1 million dead in the U.S. or 15 million dead globally were numbers that were once unfathomable. But to anyone who's been paying attention to how world governments prioritize profit-seeking for capital instead of healthcare for workers, this staggering death toll is entirely predictable. DC lobbyists raked in over $1 billion in work during just the first quarter of this year. According to the Center for Responsive Politics Open Secrets Project, it's the largest lobbying haul ever. Capitalists are spending more money on trying to influence legislation and government business than ever before. The biggest spender remains the Chamber of Commerce, which has dished out nearly $2 billion on lobbying since the 1990s. It spent $19 million in the first quarter this year. The healthcare industry devoted the most resources to lobbying. The fire industry, financial, insurance, and real estate came in second. Open Secrets reported that the most heavily lobbied issue of the year so far has been the federal budget. In related news, one of the nation's leading war profiteers is hoping to up its influence game by relocating its headquarters closer to Washington, D.C. Boeing announced it was moving to Arlington, Virginia. The Washington Post reported, quote, "A new headquarters across from Washington will allow Boeing to assert itself in the world of national security, with more than half of the $62 billion it generated in sales last year coming from military contracts. The Arlington location will place top executives near political leaders, many of the nation's top defense contractors, and a stone's throw away from one of Boeing's top clients, the Pentagon." Well, I'd say there goes the neighborhood, but war profiteer goals have long been fixtures in the D.C. suburbs. And finally, Amazon labor union president Christian Smalls was invited to testify before the Senate Budget Committee on Thursday. Senator Bernie Sanders called the hearing to examine federal contracts that go toward companies engaged in rampant union busting, something Smalls, who has spent the last 2 years organizing Amazon workers, knows very well. The Republican ranking member on the committee, Senator Lindsey Graham, though, was pissed the hearing was even taking place, and he accused Sanders of steering the panel into a dangerous direction.
This committee is taking a very dangerous turn under your leadership, to be honest with you. You're singling out a single company because of your political agenda to socialize this country. Every time I turn around, you're having a hearing about Anybody that makes money is bad. The government needs to grow beyond our ability to pay for it. This is an effort to get an outcome you want, using the United States Senate as your vehicle. This is very dangerous. You can have oversight hearings all you like, but you've determined Amazon is a piece of crap company. That's your political bias. They're subject to the laws of the United States. They shouldn't be subject to this.
Instead of just letting Senator Graham's bullshit hang out there, Smalls used his opening statement to speak directly to the Republican from South Carolina and remind him that companies like Amazon, that he's so fond of, would be nothing without their workers.
Thank you for having me. Well, first off, I want to address Mr. Graham. First off, it sounded like you was talking about more of the companies and the businesses in your speech, but you forgot that the people are the ones who make these companies operate, and that we're not protected, and that the process for when we hold these companies accountable is not working for us, then that's the reason why we're here today. That's the reason why I'm here to represent the workers who make these companies go. And I think that it's in your best interest to realize that it's not a left or right thing. It's not a Democrat or a Republican thing. It's a workers thing. It's a workers issue. And we're the ones that are suffering in the corporations that you're talking about, in the businesses that you're talking about, in the warehouses that you're talking about. So that's the reason why I think I was invited today to speak on that behalf. And you should listen, because we do represent your constituents as well. So just take that into consideration, that the people are the ones that make these corporations go. It's not the other way around.
Get his ass, Chris. Graham wasn't the only member of the committee, though, to go to bat for Amazon. Here was Democratic Senator Tim Kaine using his questioning time to push back against Teamsters President Sean O'Brien's characterization of Amazon as a criminal corporation.
But I don't think Amazon is an organized criminal syndicate.
It definitely is the way they treat their workers, sir, with all due respect.
Yeah, so I mean, I know that that's your opinion, and you are as sincere in stating that as I am in saying that I think that's a vast overstatement. Amazon employs 1 million Americans. Not everybody hates their jobs at Amazon. Tens of thousands of them work in Virginia. Not everybody hates their jobs at Amazon. Amazon's going to open a huge headquarters in Northern Virginia that was going to have 25,000 employees, but after New York said, we don't want you, it's going to be 35,000 employees in Northern Virginia, and Virginians are very excited about it. It's in probably the bluest part of Virginia. And my dad was on the Ironworker Pension Fund as the management representative, and he just taught us growing up, unions and management shouldn't be fighting, it should be a team. And I hope that's what I hope we're kind of shooting, that we would want to be a team without owners kicking workers around, and without employers being demonized. I mean, Democrats, if we want to love jobs, we got to also work with those that are building companies that create jobs.
Jesus Christ, shut up. You're the only one who actually thinks that, Tim. Management sure as hell doesn't think it's teaming up with unions. Companies spend hundreds of millions of dollars every year trying to defeat unions and lobby Congress to weaken labor law. And any union worth a damn knows that its relationship with management is fundamentally adversarial. So Tim Kaine is living in a fantasy world. But he's trying to lure Amazon to his home state of Virginia to prey on workers there, so we know why he's saying what he's saying. Anyway, credit to Senator Sanders for convening this hearing. The labor movement and workers rarely get such a chance to appear before Congress. But the real disappointment with the hearing was with its turnout. Barely any lawmakers even attended it. Aside from Sanders, Graham, and Kaine, only 2 other senators bothered to even show up. So just 5 people on a committee of 22. No Wyden, no Merkley, no Stabenow. Smalls did get some respect from the White House, though. After the hearing on Capitol Hill, the Amazon Labor Union president, along with the Teamsters president and other worker organizers, met with President Biden in the dang Oval Office. They took this picture together. You can see Smalls standing next to Biden while wearing an Eat the Rich jacket. That's some more content for the dripped out trade unionist Twitter account. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our new videos. Also, if you want to see Means Morning News in its complete form, not just the clips we post here, head on over to Means TV and get access to all our new episodes and our entire backlog, plus tons of other great movies and original TV shows.